Okay. First of all, Ted, congratulations on 5 years here at Point of Rental.
Thank you.
So I ask all the new people what they did before they got to Point of Rental. We didn't get to ask you. So what are some of the things you did before you got to Point of Rental?
I joined Point of Rental on my 19th year career anniversary, as a matter of fact. So before that, I worked for a company called Hortonworks, became Cloudera later. It was in the Silicon Valley in Santa Clara, outside of San Francisco. So spent 5 years there, helped scale the company from 60 million to 350 million over
Thanks.
5 years. So it's kind of similar trend with Point of Rental we'll get to in a minute. So that was it. Pretty much my entire finance career culminated in that my last job before Point of Rental, which this took over even at a bigger scale.
Yeah. Okay. So like, how did you come across Point of Rental and why did you say like, hey, this is a spot that I should go to?
There's an interesting story about it, actually. I was on a sabbatical, a successful exit from my previous company. At that time, Wayne was looking for a new head of finance, and Lathan and I connected on Indeed, but in a weird kind of way. It was a fluke. So I was not checking my Indeed at all for maybe once a week. Mm-hmm. And you would think they're supposed to forward you messages from Indeed to your main email, which never happened.
Yeah.
So 3 days after Lathan contacted me on Indeed, I just happened to log in and see his message there. Well, I was like, oh, wow. So I never even saw it until then. And as a fluke went, right, at that point in time, it was still open. This position was still open. Wayne was still looking. And then we connected and I came down here, met Wayne. The team was impressed with how Wayne saw this going, this company growth and everything. Seemed a little bit too fast and too soon, which he proved me wrong, which I'm happy. So anyway, but that's the story how I got here.
So you came from California to Texas?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I lived in Atlanta at the time, but the company was in California. I was traveling and doing remote work.
Okay. So you came to be the head of payment or not payments?
No, head of finance at the time.
Yeah. Yes.
Finance and accounting. We had a small team. Holly was here. 3 or 4 current employees were here. And we grew the team after that. But just the head of finance, that was my role.
Yeah, I was going to say, and what's your role now? I know you're still over in finance, and I don't necessarily interact with finance a whole lot. So,
right. So
what do y'all do?
I'm a global controller. As Wayne mentioned in one of his podcasts, the company has grown exponentially to where we are becoming a real corporation in the sense with controls, roles, responsibilities. We were real before, but we're getting a lot bigger there, right? So everything is delineated properly. My global controller function is basically head of accounting and all accounting processes, controls, and everything else related to that. It involves quite a bit. And without going to too much technicalities, we have an audit that's upcoming, the very first company audit. And I will be a part of that ongoing process. That's another part of my responsibilities going forward.
Yeah, global controller seems very powerful and also very responsible.
Yes, it's a formal title, global controller.
Okay. What do you enjoy about working at Point of Rental, especially in your current role?
It's the team most of all because I have the best team ever. In my entire, now it's 24-year-long career. In my entire 24 years, I've run multiple teams.
Yeah.
I help to mentor and build different personalities, different types, jobs, and responsibilities. This is the best team by far because it's closer, it's close-knit. We maintain that same family environment as the whole company does within our group. Mm-hmm. That's how I preferred when I started. That's why, in part, I liked Point of Rental, close-knit family ties.
Yeah.
So, and then I enjoyed just the relaxed environment overall. You know, although we have a lot to do, things keep changing all the time. Thanks to Wayne in big part because he never runs out of ideas how to keep us all busy, which I'm thankful for. But that's the fun of it, right? It's sense of accomplishment. Every year goes by, I'm looking 5 years back, feels sometimes like I've only been here maybe 3 months, and at some point it feels like maybe it's been 10 years. You know, it depends. Sometimes a day goes by 3, like in combat. I was in the Army many years ago, and sometimes it feels like it's more relaxed and smooth, typical uptime, downtime. But I do love the cadence. I do love what we're doing as a company because look at us 5 years ago to today.
Yeah.
We grew 5-fold. and the sky's the limit, and we just never end. And that's what I enjoy here.
All right, cool. Now, I usually ask our new people, like, what's something outside of work that you love talking about? So we never got to ask you that. What are you doing outside of the office?
I'm an athlete. I'm active physically outside, just about anything that could be done outside. Beside that, I have a hobby. It's World War II weapons collections. I not just collect them, I restore them, bring them back to life. Some old historic pieces that each has a story that comes with a certain thing that occurred during the World War II or World War I. I have quite a few of those items. And every time you hear that story and look at it, it's a 100-year-old piece that I brought back together by repairing or, refinishing. And takes my mind of things, helps just to kind of maintain the balance and look at things in perspective. It was 100 years ago, this piece is still here. Will any of us will be, stuff like that. Kind of puts you in a philosophical mode. I also have a Civil War collection, the actual Civil War weapons from the 1800s. So, that's my main hobby.
Yeah, and it's also kind of wild to just think about, like, this thing has, like, seen some stuff and, like, been in some stuff that it's like, wow, this was actually part of that history that, like...
Exactly right. And each one has a pedigree. Each one, like I said, is attached to a certain individual that whatever transpired during the war, the combat, and you're looking at that thing, my God, somebody held it, and, kind of like goosebumps all over. And, I am former military, so it's a natural progression to have this kind of collection. Unless somebody tells me that collecting stamps is more fun, I might reconsider,
Okay. Okay, now we'd like to get some advice from people once they've reached 5 years. So if you could go back in time 5 years and say, hey, Ted, like, I got, this is you from the future. I need to tell you something. What would you tell yourself?
Exhibit more patience with a rapidly scaling company like we were, and we still are rapidly scaling. I brought a lot of that because my previous company also scaled up 5 times. The growth was horrendous on a huge scale, but it was unique to the point where what we do here with the leadership style that we have, you have to really be keen on the technology. You have to understand where we're going, to understand the market. So I wish I could tell myself 5 years ago, take your time for about 3 more minutes than I usually would, and think through how do we need to structure a certain thing.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging as, like, when you're growing really fast, it's like, okay, where are we going? Oh, where are we going? Oh, no,
that's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's pretend this is an award show now. We just had, I think, the Emmys last night. You're giving an award speech. Who are you thanking? Basically, who helped get you to where you are today?
Right. Well, first person I will always be grateful for is Wayne, for his vision. How when I met with him, like I said, what impressed me about the guy sees no limit. He doesn't understand the concept of a limit. That's why we follow him. First of all, like I said, for him, for being what he is and how he brings the company together, for all of us being a part of it, and for never running out of ideas how to keep us all busy. So then second person will be Holly Emmons. She is the best people manager I would ever dream about to run the team. I have a great team, and Holly is a huge part of it. She's the glue that glues the company together. She's been here 20 years. Makes the work easy for me. Then Matt Ross, who I've gotten to know in the past 3 years since he's been here with us, he is the most hardworking guy I've known in my 24 years in finance, I'll tell you. And he helped to create the very relaxed, very professional environment. It's just easy to work with, easy to function. And also, of course, my entire accounting team. These guys, I will never be successful without them. And they're there every day, chipping in and out without anybody knowing anything what they do. But they're the only reason that a lot of stuff that we do in the company is so successful.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that some people are keeping track of the money and on the money side.
Yeah, we do.
we do need those people. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, and congratulations on 5 years. I'll see you in another 5.
I hope so. I hope we'll hit 100 million in annual sales by then, which won't take long because we're already at 60 million today.
All right. So goals out there for
100 million. 3 years though. 5 years, it's too far to take. 3 years, 100 million. Matt Ross, Wayne, I hope you guys are listening.
Perfect.